It takes 2 to 4 people working together to create an authentic Kris dagger. Subandi Suporningrat has been making them for 42 years. His assistant, Argus, has been making them for 4 years. And Subandi's newest apprentice, his son Dano, has been at it for just 5 months. But seeing younger Kris makers is a rare sight in Indonesia.
Khawatir pemahaman masyarakat terhadap budaya bangsa ini kan semakin juga berkurang kan.
New Kris makers are so rare that the United Nations gave the craft intangible cultural heritage status as a safeguard. The Indonesian government now pays Subandi to teach young people how to make the daggers. But is it too little, too late? We visited Subandi's Kris workshop to see how this traditional craft is still standing. Arif Usman, a retired teacher, is visiting Subandi at his workshop in Solo, Central Java.
Keris untuk dari leluhur kita, jadinya kita harus punya lah.
This style of dagger is centuries old. Its use as a weapon is immortalized on the walls of Hindu temples dating back to the 9th century. Over time, it became a physical reminder of Javanese history, and people maintained the belief that the daggers connected them to the spiritual world. Now, the Kris is incorporated into weddings and funerals, and is passed down as an heirloom that connects modern generations to past ones.
Oh, saya percaya. Apalagi kita orang untuk pegangan di rumah supaya keluarga adem ayem gitu.
But before forging can begin, an empu has to perform certain rituals. As part of his preparation, he consumes only rice and water for 3 days, a period of fasting known as muti.
Karena apa? Tuhan itu tidak memberikan kita semuanya tidak gratis. Harus ada lakunya.
Before he begins, an assortment of offerings is prepared by his daughter, Seppa. While not directly involved in making daggers, she has focused her master's photography thesis on Kris.
Kalau untuk saat ini sih belum, mungkin suatu saat nanti pengen dibikinin Bapak sesuai dengan karakteristik saya sebagai turunan leluhur atau sebagai mungkin doa dari Bapak untuk saya ke depannya. Mungkin seperti itu sih.
Yang baik mestinya tahapan-tahapan yang pembuatan. Oh ini misalnya berdoa, tidak hanya sekedar ucapan saja, juga nganggo menggagai puasa laku, nama orang Jawa itu laku.
The physical process begins with a fire, which can reach temperatures of up to 1200 degrees Celsius. Using teak charcoal as the base.
Nempa, soalnya panasnya itu.
Subandi's 23-year-old son, Dano, hopes to take over the family business one day. He's one of a handful of apprentices in the workshop, but training a new generation of empus is proving difficult. Dano says he, like a lot of young people in Indonesia, had no desire at first to become a Kris master.
Dulu sebelumnya sih nggak ada sama sekali ketertarikan masuk dunia keris. Sebenarnya 5 bulan baruan. Soalnya sebelumnya saya bekerja di tempat resto Solo. Karena juga ingin nerusin usaha bapak, karena anak satu-satunya juga, pengen berusaha bahagiain bapak.
Subandi begins by heating a single slab of iron. Folding it in half and inserting a thin piece of nickel. He then hammers the 2 metals together into one mass. There are two basic shapes to a kris, curved and straight.
Tipe look 3 yang pamornya bagus.
A curved dagger usually has an odd number of curves, or looks. The pamor is the swirly pattern that forms on the surface of the blade as a result of welding together layers and layers of iron and nickel. Part of being considered a master is knowing how many layers of nickel and iron to use to create the pamor pattern the buyer wants.
Nah, soal jumlahnya, kita menyesuaikan bentuk pamor yang akan diinginkan. Jadi setiap pamor itu belum tentu, artinya tidak sama lapisannya.
He heats up the metal again in the fire until it glows red hot. Dana and the others then take turns hammering the molten metal together. The mass is then heated and folded in half again. They repeat this over and over, multiplying the number of layers with each fold. A laborious and time-consuming process.
Paling memuaskan itu keluar kembang apinya itu.
The multi-layered piece is folded once more before steel is welded into the core. At this point, Subandi will either hammer in the basic curves or leave it straight, depending on the desired shape. Finally, he immerses the dagger in water adorned with a ceremonial blend of flowers known as Kembang 7 Rupa. This process quenches and hardens the newly forged steel. Now it's time to shape and file the blade. This is the most difficult part of the process, according to Subandi's apprentice, Agus.
Karena kalau kita salah sedikit dah jadi.
Subandi uses tools like an emery wheel or a grindstone to sharpen the edges and carve out the final design of the pamor. Dana is learning how to do this detailing, which has already resulted in a trip to the hospital.
Kebetulan kemarin waktu saya ngerinda itu ada gram besi yang masuk ke mata. Dan akhirnya memutuskan ke dokter mata dan alhamdulillah sudah sembuh.
To accentuate the pamor design, Subandi brushes the blade with a liquid mixture containing arsenic.
Nah, untuk memunculkan yang di Jawa itu terkenal dengan warangan itu, memunculkan itu adalah menggunakan asam.
The sheath and handles are carved from other materials like wood, bone or metal. The material of the handle can affect the final price. Most of Subandi's customers are local Javanese people like Arif, who are familiar with kris culture. Subandi says demand for authentic kris daggers is growing. The problem is there simply aren't enough people qualified to make them.
Selama ini, akhir-akhir ini, setiap bulan ada.
There are not many traditional empus like Subandi left in the country, which is why he is determined to pass on the skills to younger generations, like his son Danar. But Subandi says there is still a lot to learn before Danar can become an empu.
Ya, karena tidak menjamin saya menjadi kemampuan. Tadi harus dari Bapak Empu itu adalah kemampuan.
Subandi started learning to make daggers in 1979 at the suggestion of the chairman of the Indonesian Classical Arts Academy, who was interested in reinvigorating kris production.
Selamat siang, Mas. Monggo, ini Mas Joko.
Subandi went on to teach at the state-run Indonesian Institute of the Arts Surakarta, where he trains younger apprentices. Muhammad is a student in the kris program Subandi teaches. Both he and his classmate Joko say they want to become empus one day.
Yaitu di kalangan anak muda sekarang kan sudah meninggalkan tradisi-tradisinya, yaitu terutama di berkerisan. Mempertahankan budaya berkerisan.
Masyarakat yang mencintai budaya, apalagi sekarang bahwa budaya asli Indonesia kan juga mendapat tekanan-tekanan dari luar. Mungkin juga ada istilah mungkin atau mematikan budaya-budaya tradisi bangsa kan gitu ada. Gitu.
Even with recent revitalization efforts, knowledge of how to make Chris daggers is at risk of disappearing as young people choose higher paying jobs in modern industries. In 2005, the United Nations gave Chris daggers intangible cultural heritage status alongside other art forms under threat.
Kita sebagai seniman kalau idealis dengan karya doang kita nggak bisa makan, tetap ke ekonomis.
While Subandi may be one of the only empus left in Solo, his work has had a big impact on the youth around him. And it's not just men looking to become empus.
Pernah angkatan keberapa itu 8 atau ke itu kebanyakan malah perempuan, dari cowoknya lebih banyak ceweknya.
Ada, karena beberapa mahasiswanya Bapak itu sering ke rumah. Suatu saat nanti kalau pengen sih dibikinkan untuk keris wanita biasanya. Namanya cundri, jadi untuk ukurannya lebih kecil.
And students like Muhammad are stepping into the empu role to help keep the tradition alive.
Menurut saya itu kesempatan untuk di kalangan anak muda yang sekarang yang tetap mempertahankan nilai budaya, terutama di Indonesia sendiri. Kan banyak yang harus tetap dilestarikan. Kalau bukan anak-anak muda sekarang, nanti siapa lagi?